All right, so on to next. Can we say next week? There's a next fortnight. Wait, the next game is Collingwood, and we'll all remember the last time we played Collingwood in the qualifying final last year.
Nothing notable about that.
Nothing at all. We just won it by 6 points, but it was a bit of a scare little point there. Jezza and Gary Rowan had 3 goals each. We'll all remember that Jezza goal from the boundary. I've got my over-ear headphones on at the moment, but Tommy Atkins was great. He had 23 touches and 9 tackles as well. And we have won, in terms of recent history though with the Pies, we have won the last 4 against them. So, but they always seem to scare me a little bit. I don't know about you. What's your confidence level going into this one, Anna? Do you approach Cats games supremely confident? I mean, or do you go in there and think, oh, we're going to lose? I've got really woken up with a bad feeling, doom and gloom. How do you go into it?
I'm all about the feelings and the vibes, Marbo, it's the vibe, all that. No, I'm just saying. But I guess I'm a realist in the fact that my dad, and as you guys, my dad was born in 63, so waited 44 years to see a flag. So, and I'm very lucky to have seen 4 at 22, can't complain. But he's very much a realist, and I go in with pretty low expectations, I'm still riding high off obviously winning a flag. It's been a great summer. The sun shone brighter and everything, all of that. But yeah, going into round 1, I know that Collingwood can really only go up after what they did last year, and they've got a hunger that, I think Geelong's been able to retain that hunger. But I guess my question is, and I think I'll be proven wrong, is, are we still really hungry after winning a flag? Which I think, they tell us what we want to hear. Yeah, we're all training the house down and we're hungry. But will that come out in round 1? That's your biggest fear, because Collingwood have a lot of, they want to get us back. We beat them 2 close games, last year we got them twice. So, yeah, I think it'll be another close one.
Well, they're probably thinking, well, we could have been premiers. We nearly had Geelong, and look what they did to Sydney, even though Collingwood lost to Sydney as well. But yeah, could have been them. So they're probably thinking they're a red hot crack and give it everything. They've had an extra week as well. Not that it means a whole lot over the course of a summer, but I don't know. Paul, what are you going into this feeling supremely confident, or a little bit? I don't know. I don't want to say anything just yet. Oh.
Look, supremely is a bit of a stretch, but I'm confident. Mm-hmm. A little bit of that confidence probably hinges on what happens with Jordan De Goey in the next day or so.
Yes.
Because there's obviously talk that he may or may not get scrubbed.
I think he should get scrubbed.
And he's
personally.
Obviously, as a Cats fan, we all would thoroughly like to see.
No, you want the best players out there. Is that the right answer?
Just get bank the win, because if we can't play with Tom Hawkins, they can't play with De Goey.
Yep.
But setting that aside, he's obviously a brilliant player. In the prelim, he kicked 2 goals against us in really important parts of the game that nearly kind of ripped the game away from us. So he's important, and there's really no arguing that. So I'm not going to complain that he's not there, or if he's not there, sorry. But otherwise, I guess I'm not as bullish about Collingwood going up from here. And you hear this get touted a little bit, but they obviously had that incredible streak last year, but their percentage is, you can't say it's poor. It was north of 100, but for a team that won so many games, it was poor. And it's because of just how close all those games were. It only takes one kick in most of those games to completely flip the result. And the likelihood, and this is now me just going all maths teacher on the whole thing, the likelihood of them repeating that sort of an effort, in game out, being able to just position themselves in the right spot and have the ball bounce the right way and all those sorts. It's highly unlikely that it's going to happen again. I'm saying highly likely because I don't want this to come back and bite me on the ass.
No, you got to make bold calls, mate.
Oh, fine. They're going to finish dead last.
Okay.
No. So, yeah, Geelong and Collingwood games have historically been tight since really when we won the flag in 2007. It hasn't, there's been 1 or 2 blowouts, weirdly in 2008, part of the way through the season, and then in the prelim in 2010. But otherwise, I really can't think of any that...
We blew them out in 2011 as well.
Yeah,
we
might have blown them away a couple of times. But, the final game before the finals.
Yeah, but
you don't 3 times
you don't read too much into that, do you, really?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, there's the occasional thing, but the majority of them have been hard-fought games one way, regardless of who's gone on to win. So,
I think...
I don't expect it to change.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of in the same camp as you, where I think Collingwood will probably drop off a little bit. But you could also make a case, if you're just comparing them last year to this year, you're saying, well, those games could go either way, but we're also discounting that they might actually improve 10% as well. And so those games
lost Ollie Henry, they're done.
Yeah, well, true. So they did lose they did win a couple of close ones, but maybe they'll win those close ones by 5 goals this year. So we just don't know. Like, I suspect they'll either drop off a fair bit, or they'll improve a fair bit. So they'll be quite... I don't know. That's really sitting on the fence, isn't it? Completely. If I have to pick, I'm going to say they'll drop off a fair bit. But I'm going into this one very confident that we'll get the win. It'd be nice to start off the premiership defence with our 17th straight win and a 1-0 start. Probably less optimistic about the Carlton game, but that's a fair way off still. So we'll save that one for a little bit later. Now, in terms of the ins and outs, I guess. How much do you read into the team that was picked for the Brisbane game? I guess look, Henry's not going to be there and he didn't play with Brisbane either. Hawkins maybe might come back. Kolodashny's a maybe. Jez is a maybe if the baby arrives on the day or round about that time. Even though it's in Victoria, he still might not be able to make it. And Duncan with the old man calf injury as well. So there's a few question marks. Annie, what are you thinking about the 22, the makeup of the 22? Are you thinking it'll be a bit younger, or I don't know? I'll leave it with you. What are your thoughts?
Naturally, I guess coming off a flag, you want to model as much as you can off that, but obviously that's never happened in football as much as we only lost really Joel out of that 22, or 23, I guess. But in general, I don't think we should fear that we're just going to keep growing because, as you know, we're trying to rebuild on the run. We've been doing it for 15 years and it's working, and we make no apologies that we actually want to compete every year. And as I said, I'd rather be a competitive side every year if it means we get a flag every 10 of them. I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I'm not scared in the way that I guess I'm accepting that we're going to naturally bring these guys in. So I'm almost certain Ollie Henry will come in. And as I said, we were talking about before, Radaglia for Jack Henry. So I think with Radaglia coming in, everyone will be a bit nervous about that, but he can kind of pave a path for when Jack Henry comes back, if Jack Henry if hopefully Radaglia is so good that they're fighting for the spot, So I guess Radaglia can, pave that path for Henry to become that flexible player that we've seen him be able to do before with, that Richmond game last year where he swung forward and the winner and stuff like that, which Radaglia is very capable of, doing match-saving things at both ends of the ground. So I think he'd be a lock for round one.
What was the game he spoiled the ball on the boundary line? Sorry, on the goal line.
The one that was going to go for a goal and he spoiled it. I think it was against Sydney at one point. But...
Bloody match-saving spoil for the other team, but we still love him, but goodness me.
We make errors when we're young.
We do. Thoughts? What are your thoughts, Paul, on the makeup of the 22? I mean,
you went through a laundry list of players there.
So many.
I think we'll obviously be in a bit of trouble in that sense from Hawkins being a 50-50 to Henry obviously out. Jeremy Cameron, that's just in the hands of fate, really. And Mitch Duncan, seems unlikely again. But I guess that's fine at this point. We do have the potential, all the ins compared to the 2022 Premiership team of Bruin and Henry and I'm just going blank on the third pillar there, and it's
Jack
Gold
Bowes.
Coast.
I always forget him too. Jack Bowes. He was great in the match sim.
Yeah, he's actually done a fantastic job, but I'm clearly still haven't acclimatized to him being on our list yet. But we'll get there. And then, we mentioned the likes of Cooper White and stuff before. They did play some really great games. Like, is that enough to get them a round one spot? You never know, I guess, with some openings becoming available for at least the first maybe week or two, there's an opportunity to kind of grab a hold of something and really, really make it your own. I don't think we'll be seeing the likes of Jai Clark make it this early in the piece. I don't think he'll be doing a Joel and being a walk-up round one, which might just help the Joel comparisons that everyone goes through. because Jai won't debut round one most likely, and we can just put all that to bed and just let him be his own player.
I put out a video about him being a captain, so I'm probably not helping too much.
Yeah, you're a clown.
Future captain. It was future captain. Way down the track. Sorry.
Yeah, people jumped down your throat for that one.
They did.
So, yeah, look, there'll be some natural changes, just kind of forced. Cole Jasny, if he passed all his tests, he'll be fine because it was a Thursday. Isn't it 2 weeks to the day at the moment still?
Yeah,
so it was a Thursday and then we play on the Friday. So he'll be eligible, provided he passed all the tests. So I guess that's just purely then down to what happens with the tests themselves. I don't know. There'll obviously have to be some changes, but who the candidates are, there's probably two obvious ones in Bruin and Henry, but then after that, and probably Radaglia. But beyond that, I don't know.
I think that the one we haven't touched on is probably the biggest in for mine, and it's got to be Brad Close's sleeves. We need to bring the sleeves back. I cannot stand. I know it's summer. I know we've played in 2 hot weekends, but we need the sleeves back.
Guns out.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet.
Spaghetti arms out.
I can't go into Collingwood game on a Friday night with Brad Close's bare arms showing. It's it's not going to happen. But I don't know.
I'm sure he knows what he needs to do. I'm sure he understands his responsibility that he owes his team and the supporter base.
Oh, he better.